Awesome. With that, guys, we'll jump into the training for today. I'm going to do a little bit of almost a little bit like a demo here, because one thing that I keep coming across when I'm talking to multiple agencies all over the place is they have no idea we even offer DroneSense Remote. So I want to give it the opportunity to be able to talk through some of that information. Um, so one thing that I also want to highlight, guys, is if you have a question, we have a lot of people here with DroneSense in the meeting as well. If y'all have a question, drop it in the chat. All of us are going to be monitoring that. If they don't know the question, feel free to our guys will interrupt me if I get on a roll just talking. So that way you make sure your answers get all your questions get answered. This is a training opportunity, guys, as well. So there is no dumb questions. I've had some of my firefighter friends really test that theory, but we have yet to find a dumb question. So if y'all have them, please do not hesitate to ask. With that, we'll jump into the portion here. So all of y'all are DroneSense customers, so you know really well about how our platform works on the left-hand side, but we do offer the DroneSense Remote side of the house as well. What's great about the DroneSense Remote side is if you want to fly drone as first responder literally today, you have the ability to do that in our software. You just need to get with our account managers or account executives so that we can turn it on for you. So in the application that you're running today, you have fly mission, fly training missions. If you have MSAT turned on, you'll have streaming and tracking down here. But if you get with our account executives, account managers, and you want to start like testing it out and getting those use cases, those proof of concepts done, we can get it turned on for you today and get some training for you. And what'll happen is in the exact same application you're running, whether it's the DroneSense application or the Axon Air application, in the top right-hand corner, that little guy is going to go active and you'll be able to select it. What's great about this as well is in the DFR 1.0 procedure or type of operations, the remote pilot in command has the ability to take over that aircraft and maintain visual line of sight of that aircraft during the trial training side. At any point in time, we have a banner that you can push and it'll take over the control from the teleoperator. You can either push this orange button in the top right-hand corner that'll stop all autonomous operations and give it over to you, or you can also cycle the sport mode or in mode on the toggle there for the remote as well. In our DroneSense Remote, we support all V5 aircraft. So from a Mavic 3 up, you can do drone as first responder operations. We support Dock 1, Dock 2, and Dock 3 operations as well. In the DroneSense Remote Hub, which we're going to dive deep into today, you have the ability to create your agency launch sites anywhere you would like to place those, whether you're running DFR 1.0 or DFR 2.0. You can have multiple aircraft at a launch site. You could have multiple docks at a launch site. Every launch site is fully customizable as well, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We have geofencing functionality built into our software as well, and we'll show you what that looks like. But think of the geofencing as no-fly zones. Those work exactly like a DJI geofence does. It'll hit that force field and it won't let it fly in it. We also have the ability to set up emergency landing sites in DFR 1.0 only. And DFR 2.0, the hard coding of the DJI docks do not allow for emergency launch landing sites. It'll always come back to the dock, and I have really ran it through some testing to validate that. We also have the ability to stream those flights to OpSub, so you can have your platform operations as well as your everyday DFR operations all going to the same place. Last but not least, we also have those case logs and call for service dashboards with both internal and publicly facing dashboards available to you as well. So in the event that you are wanting to build out those dashboards so that you can have that public transparency, which we highly recommend you do, we have those capabilities for you too. And last but not least, with that, we have that real-time telemetry information available for you as well, so that way you can make sure that you have all the information that you need available for you at your fingertips to make sure that you are having a safe operation flying over the internet. Okay. This is how DroneSense works. Let me pause for a second, go back, make sure we don't have any questions. All good. Wonderful. This is how DroneSense works. The drone itself sends a telemetry link to the dock or the remote pilot and command on the rooftop. If you're flying DFR 1.0, all of that information translates over to our AWS servers, where you have the ability to fly these aircraft utilizing virtual sticks in our remote hub. Coming on over to the DroneSense Ops Hub, that's also where you have the ability to view all that in live streaming capabilities. Drone as first responder side of the house is all SOC 2 Type 2 certified as well. One thing that I really want to harp on, and everybody needs to write this down if y'all are in the discovery phase or the ready to start phase, if you're in the operational phase and you haven't done this yet, scan this QR code. This goes to our trust.dronesense.com. I'll drop that in the chat for everybody as well. Trust.dronesense.com. Go to this webpage. Do it about once or twice a month. No different than if you're doing firmware checks, you're doing your pre-flight checklist, you want to make sure everything's up to date. We are always looking at better ways to optimize firewall capabilities. We are adding in new features that may require firewalls to be opened up. So it's a good practice to check this every couple months or at the end of every month just to make sure nothing's changed. And if you go to trust.dronesense.com and you download our firewall documentation, it's going to have a date there. If you've already checked it, that's all you got to do. You don't have to send it to IT and say, hey, double check the ports or anything like that. If everything's whitelisted and everything's great, you're good to go. But if that date's changed, you need to get that documentation over your IT divisions so that nothing gets held up with those operations. Okay. Coming on next, inside of for DroneSense Remote, we have all of our flights in remote going to your admin console that you're currently utilizing in platform. So all of your flight logs and everything's going to go to the same place. You don't have to log into a different location. We do have the ability to do custom COA data reporting and exports in the event you're still flying under an older model COA. And you have to do those flight reports. We have custom report data exports for you on that. Coming on over, we do also have a public facing dashboard as well available to you. We're going to show you what that looks like. We've made some updates to this. So if you haven't taken a look at this in the past, I highly recommend you do now. And we're going to show you what that looks like a little bit later. This is a new service that we offer as well. We offer professional services for you in the event, in the form of program auditing. So in the event you're interested in finding out if your program is being operated in the most effective manner it possibly can, you can get with your account managers or your account executives and let them know that, hey, we want DroneSense to take a look at our program. We want to make sure that we have good hardware. We want to make sure that our DroneSense account is operating in the most effective manner that it can. We want to make sure that we're not missing out on some features that either we're paying for or we didn't know that y'all offer. And we'll provide you with all of those program auditing capabilities. All of our program audits are also going to be utilizing the lens of law enforcement drone associations best practices for all of those operations. We have public policy development for you. So if you are in one of those agencies in the discovery phase or ready to start and you want support with adjusting your policy to support drone as first responder operations, we also offer those services and we provide you a recommended draft. Again, all of these are in accordance with law enforcement drone associations best practices. Our policies are also have also been certified with organizations like Texas Commission on Law Enforcement for best practices for those as well. Our policies have been accredited from multiple other entities. Last but not least, we offer waiver support. We have written waivers for every type of drone as first responder operation there is under the sun, whether you're flying under an old COA, you're flying under the new COWs, you're flying under Part 107, you're wanting to use electro-optical, ADS-BN only, combination, radar. DroneSense has written waivers for all of these, and we have agencies utilizing these every single day in real-world incidents. If you would like to talk to some of those agencies, many of them are in this meeting. So we'd be happy to connect you with them. If you have any questions, they're a wealth of knowledge, and we'll be happy to connect you for those. That's pretty much my death by PowerPoint. I always like to end on our support page with all of y'all being customers. I hope that y'all have been to our support.dronesense.com webpage. If you haven't, I'll drop that in the chat as well. I came across an agency that had no idea that this was available to them the other day. So that's something that I'm trying to hit again. So make sure that you're going to our support.dronesense.com web portal. Make sure that if you have any issues, any whatsoever, feature requests, something didn't work right, something's completely broke, go to our support page, drop a ticket so that we can see those things, get it to our engineers, and track that for you so we can fix it. So I know a lot of people like to call. I've been an end user for a little over 7 years. My go-to phone call was Ryan Bracken or Josh Pruitt back in the day, and sometimes even Coit. Um, that does work. I understand. Again, that's what I used to do, but I can't emphasize enough. Going and dropping those tickets allows us to make sure that we're not dropping any balls. So please, please, please make sure that you're doing those Zendesk support tickets. You can also call our 833 DroneSense helpline. We have some of our support team on this call as well. They are a wealth of knowledge. They are there to help you make sure that you get your questions answered over the phone. If it's something that requires escalation, they'll help you do your support ticket as well. So don't be afraid to call that helpline as well. Again, if you haven't gone on the support page, you can type in literally anything in our software, whether it's DroneSense Remote or platform, and they'll give you police and firefighter friendly articles with arrows and pictures and articulation about where everything is for you. Okay. That is, this is my contact information. For those of y'all who don't know me, I'll talk a little bit more about myself here in a minute. But this is my contact information. This is my email for DroneSense here. Again, help@dronesense.com for any of your support issues. This is my personal cell phone. If y'all have questions about anything at all, whether you're a DroneSense customer or not, everybody in here are DroneSense customers, with the exception, I think, one. And I see you, Travis. Call my number. If you have questions about anything, whether you're a customer or not, I'm a resource for you, whether it is a software question, a hardware question, case law question, tactics question. I'm here to help you. All I honestly care about is successful drone programs because I've seen them save lives. I want to make sure that everybody has that resource available to you. So don't be afraid to utilize that information. If you scan that QR code, it takes you to my digital business card and you'll get all my contact information and I'll get yours. Awesome. Any questions, comments, concerns? Again, if you have them, drop them in the chat. This is a training opportunity. I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to do that. Okay. And the DroneSense team will be watching that diligently for you as well. All right. With that, I'm going to go to a different slideshow. Since we had since we have a few people here that are interested in drone as first responder in the discovery phase, I want to talk a little bit about that before we jump into the trial training or into the actual training. We got plenty of time to go through this. I'm a fast talker, so we'll be okay. But just bear with me on it. So for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Brennan Carr. I'm an internationally recognized subject matter expert for UAS operations for law enforcement, disaster response. I'm also one of about 5, now probably closer to 10 people in the world for drone as first responder subject matter expertise as well. I have on here that I'm the drone as first responder solutions engineer for DroneSense. I recently got promoted. I am now the director of customer success for DroneSense. So again, hit those Zendesk tickets, call that support line. This is my team now. We're going to be working on some optimizations for that and making sure that when you call them, you get all the help that you need. They've been crushing it, but just want to make sure that everybody knows I did have a new role change. I'm the co-founder for Unmanned Tactical Group, which is a training and consultation company. I'm the chief operating officer, legislative lead, and public information officer for Law Enforcement Drone Association, former air operations integrations coordinator for the city of Pearland, and am the current aviation coordinator for Galveston County for the sheriff's office and all the precincts and Officer of Mercy Management. A little bit of history on Pearland's program. We were established in 2017. We have 7 certified pilots. I think they have 8 now. We are one of the most recognized drone programs in the world, specifically because of what we did with Drone as First Responder. We were the first agency in the country to get a fully beyond visual line of sight Drone as First Responder program in Class Bravo airspace. This is kind of what our operations look like. The majority of our operations are training operations, but outside of that, the majority of the operations that Pearland conducts are searches per person. And this is one of the most common call outs you're going to get flying your Drone as First Responder program. So what's great about that is under search per person, that's a DFR operation. Spec ops, not so much. Special events can be. You can utilize your drone as first responder program for Overwatch. Personally, and this is a Brandonism, I don't really agree with that. I think that that's more of a platform side of the house, but you absolutely can leverage it for that. For tactical operations, especially if it becomes dynamic, DFR is a good opportunity for that. Fire department operations, absolutely. Get there first. Make sure that we can get those firefighters into the scenes so that they can start looking at roof integrity, start seeing, is this an actual fire or just an alarm? Especially when it comes to like crashes that crashes with injuries, we could find where that crash is. Because I don't know about y'all, but every 911 call that came to my doorstep, especially when it came to crashes, they were never where they actually said they were. So getting the DFR program out there and getting those operations and seeing where they are and coordinating those ground assets to the actual location is a really good application for that. Crash crime scene reconstruction was another big one, and City of Pearland tasks was another big deployment that we had. As you can see, if you really cheerlead your program's only going to skyrocket. We started outpacing K9 deployments with Pearland about in year 2. So there's a lot of really great opportunity, and log those deployments in DroneSense. Export out that stuff, make really nice reports, because this is what's going to allow you to get more budget and allow you to expand so that you can have bigger and better programs. This is another dashboard that we had with the City of Pearland. Full disclosure, I know this looks really great, and you're like, how the hell did you do that, Brandon? We did a lot of stuff in Esri. DroneSense is releasing a very similar dashboard later this year, so you'll be able to make your own kind of adjustments for this. Hopefully, it's coming a lot sooner than later this year, but I don't want to promise anything without product being in here. So where did DFR operations start? So Chula Vista was the very first program back in 2018 that started with drone as first responder operations. I pulled this back in last year, and back then they had just under 19,000 flights. This year, I think they're closer to 22,000 flights already, which is really, really great. And I leverage this all the time. Full disclosure, Chula's not one of our customers yet. But this is something that is really great because it really shows the value of drone as first responder, right? Generally speaking, they're able to avoid dispatching a patrol unit a quarter of the time. They're first on scene more than 70% of the time. And these are the two stats that really sell a drone as first responder program. So as you are building your operations out, really leverage the dashboards that we have, the statistics that we have available to you in DroneSense, so that you can bring this to your chiefs, your sheriffs, and say, hey, we're flying our pants off here, and we're able to save you money by disregarding patrol units, by de-escalating your call for service operations. Being able to be first on scene helps that response time, which really helps with budgetary considerations when they go to their councils. This is what Pearland's program looks like, and this is something that I also really want to hit on. A lot of our competitors talk about how they can fly for 9 miles. They can be able to get a drone out to wherever they need you to go. And that's fine, right? Like we have agencies that have been able to push these aircraft out 4 miles. We have agencies that keep it within 1 mile. Drone as first responder operations need to be optimized for your call for service volumes. Nothing else matters. If your call for service volumes, prime example, if your call for service volumes out here, you have no calls for services. Can I get out there quickly? Yeah. Do I need to? No. So I'm going to build out my operations where these heat maps are based off of your call for service volume. So if you're standing up a DFR program, get with your crime analysts, get with your dispatch if you don't have crime analysts, and get your call for service data for the last year. That'll tell you where you need a DFR program. It also can give you an idea on where can you install these systems and how far do you need these systems to go. So once you have these call for service data, you can find out, all right, now I know where my drones are going to go. What was the response time for those, right? Whether it's a priority 1 call or a priority 4 call, what's the average response time? The national average is about 7 to 10 minutes. Generally speaking, that means you're going to want a DFR program that's only going to be flying 2 to 3 miles tops. If you're wanting to fly out further, okay. But your drone, more than likely, if it's flying further than that, isn't going to be first on scene. And that's the entire point of drone as first responder. So for all of y'all that are ready to start in the discovery phase in there, which was the majority of the people in here, these are the things that me personally, I'm looking at when I'm supporting y'all on where do we need to place these drone as first responder programs and how big of my operational areas need to be. When it next, you're going to look at your operational airspace. But so for Pearland, we were class Bravo airspace to the surface. We had an approach path that was directly over our first launch site. For Hobby International Airspace, class Bravo airspace. We also have 200-foot UAS facilities map grid. So for Pearland specifically, we didn't want to fly above 200 feet. Can we? Yes, we can get higher if we need to, but we typically don't. So we started out utilizing the M30 series system with the Dock 1s. Now most agencies are utilizing Dock 2, Dock 3s. So they're really good for that. We didn't want to put visual observers on rooftops because it was not safe because we have really hot environments out here. We initially went with the Cassia G solution, which is provided by UAV Avionics. But again, since we're flying below 200 feet and the cows allow for below 200 feet with no detect and avoid whatsoever outside of ADS-B, we stopped utilizing the Cassia G solution. However, it's a fantastic unit if you're wanting to fly above 200 feet. DroneSense supports the Cassia G solution. We also are about to roll out the matrix-based integration as well. Okay, so that's a little bit of history. Any questions on background, Pearland, my background, or anything like that? I want to give you all a second to have that opportunity. Again, drop it in the chat. And I'll give a couple minutes to type it out. All right, we're going to jump over into the actual training now. So let's get into it. So one thing that I want to highlight in Airbase, so where you currently are, under your people, once you have DroneSense Remote activated, right, you are going to want to make sure that your pilots have the remote pilot permission and the remote viewer permission. They're going to need both of these permissions to be able to access our remote.dronesense.com web portal. In the event that you don't have those, what's going to happen is you're going to go to remote.dronesense.com. You're going to try to log in. It's just going to flip you back to the login. It's not going to let you in. So make sure that they have both of those roles. Once you have both of those roles, you'll log into remote.dronesense.com and you'll have the ability to get into your system here on the remote side. So our system here is very eerily similar to the ops side of the house. On the left-hand side, we have our menu. On the right-hand side, we have our map. And then once you connect to an aircraft, your user interface will populate on the right-hand side. Coming on down for our agency launch sites, again, you can add an agency launch site anywhere you want. So here we have our most favorite call for service area, Walmart. Here we have our city service center, and this is where Pearland has one of their docks. So I'm going to add a dock in here so y'all can see what that workflow looks like. So first, I'm going to add a launch site, and I'm going to place it right where we have our dock. There's the dock. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to hit next. We have the ability to do polygonal sites and circle sites. So down here at my launch site for my house down here, you can see we have a circle launch site. If you want to build out a polygon, say I only want to fly that direction, you can do a polygonal site as well. I'm going to do a circle site just to make it nice and easy. You can name it anything you want. So we'll name this one just for fun, Walmart Response Launch Site. Coming on down, we also have the ability to add a description. I don't typically put anything in there, but you can. If you're flying Drone as First Responder 1.0, we have PIC approval required. So you have that positive handoff between the teleoperator and the RPIC on the rooftop. For dock operations, you don't have to worry about this toggle. It doesn't do anything. You can activate or deactivate the launch site for the day. That's going to allow you to be able to launch from there or not for whatever reason, whether it's a maintenance issue or the weather's bad or whatever, you can turn it off for the day. Max flight radius enabled. You'll notice there's this orange or yellow operational boundary here. That's, again, going to operate exactly like a DJI geofence. It'll hit the boundary. It won't let you fly out of it. You can adjust this however you want, right? The default is 2 nautical miles, but if you want to bump that guy down, you can do that. You want to bump it up, you can make it as big as you want. We have one agency that put in 5 miles. So you can do it however you would like to do that. Again, if y'all have questions as I go, drop them in the chat, please. Coming on down, default gimbal angle. This is going to be the angle that the gimbal is going to be positioned as it goes through that call for service. So if you're interested in like very cognizant about privacy on the ground, you can bump that guy up to 0, and the gimbal will stay at the horizon the whole way. Max flight altitude enabled. That's the highest altitude the aircraft will allow you to fly. We do have terrain following built into our software as well. So if you have rolling hills, it'll make sure that it doesn't blow those altitudes. Minimum flight altitude, exactly what it sounds like. Default flight altitude, that's the altitude the drone's going to climb to and then traverse to the call for service as it goes out there. If you're installing these on top of buildings, you can do that as well. Let's say you have a 100-foot building. Well, now the drone's going to know it's already 100 feet in the air. So for that default flight altitude, it's only going to climb another 150 feet so that it's at that proper AGL altitude. Coming on down, we have the return to home altitude. That's the altitude that is going to RTH. Battery thresholds, exactly what they are in platform as well. And max connection latency. We want to make sure that that has at 500 milliseconds. So in the event you have bad internet connection for whatever reason, it'll give you 500 milliseconds before it'll tell it to come back and land. If you have an intermittent network connection out there, you can bump that up to about 1500 if you wanted to. That way you can get a little bit extra latency in there. But 500 is generally a good one. Enabling smart return to home, that's going to be the ability for you to fly out at distance, and it'll be able to do the calculation on how much battery it needs to get back. Record on takeoff, that is going to be where it will allow you to, that's where it'll allow you to automatically start recording video and photo, or excuse me, yeah, just videos to the SD card on the aircraft itself for DFR 1.0. For DFR 2.0, we'll talk about what you need to set up if you want to set that up for that. Next, you're just going to add site, and your site's available for you. Any questions on the launch site at all? Doing good? No questions? No chat? Awesome. Coming on down, this is where we have all the different remotes. We do have a filter up here for you. So if you want to hide offline systems, which I like to do, that way it's only going to show you what's available for you today. Coming on down, you can apply that and then it'll hide those. Otherwise, it'll show them all, as you can see here. But I'm just going to hide the ones I have. If you're flying DFR 1.0, again, you're just going to get your drone out. You're going to set it up like you always do. From there, you're going to select the launch site you want to fly from the day. You're going to hit join, and then your aircraft will populate here on the left-hand side. Okay, I'm going to come on down. I want to add one more thing. So if you want to add a dock in, note that we have dock 1 serial number location, and where you find that highlighted in red for you. We also have dock serial number for dock 2. The dock 2 and the dock 3 serial number locations are the exact same. So you'll go through the exact same process there for you. Okay. Once you're ready for that, you're going to hit next. You're going to dump in your dock's serial number. You're going to add in the name of your dock. You're going to select the launch site you want to tie it to. The video service, we have video service 1 and video service 2. Video service 1 is DJI's video service. Video service 2 is our video service. So we all recommend you do video 2.0. And the reason being is it gives us a whole lot of analytics into the software on figuring out if you're having video issues and things of that nature. It helps us be able to see those things. If it's in video 1, we have a little bit more limited capability to support you there. Last but not least, we have video quality. If you have a really good internet connection, you can set yours to ultra high definition. Like if you're on fiber or you got a hardwired connection, this is a good one for that. If you don't, we recommend high definition. It just will help with that latency and things of that nature. Coming on down, the video upload settings. Again, if you want to record your video evidence to the actual aircraft, we have set up the ability to turn on an S3 bucket. For this, you'll need to get with your IT division to set up an S3 bucket, but we have the ability to connect our system with that AWS S3 system so that whenever your aircraft lands in the dock, it'll offload to the dock and then push to your S3 buckets. Get with your account managers to get this turned on so that we can work with you to make sure it's set up properly. Coming on down, Again, if you're going to be flying in DFR 1.0, you can leverage emergency landing sites. To turn on an emergency site, it's done in the exact same way as turning on a launch site. So you just tell it to add an emergency site, click on the map where you want it, you name it anything you want. If you are putting it on top of a building, we also have altitude offsets. Again, this is only supported in DFR 1.0. No questions about that? Rocking and rolling. Coming on down, we support the all PlayStation 5 controllers. We support the PlayStation 5 normal controller like I have here. We support PlayStation 5 Pro controllers as well. So if you want extra buttons, you can do that. We also support keyboard functionality as well. So in the event you're wanting to fly by keyboard, and we have agencies that do that, you can do that as well. What's also great about the PlayStation 5 functionality is we have the ability to customize every button. And what's great about that is it saves to the user. So if I'm going to build out my controller however I want, and then Ramon wants to come in and change it, it's not going to screw up my settings. So long as I log out and he logs back in, it'll automatically pull his stuff. So like, for example, I'm a mode 3 pilot. I also like my gimbal up, gimbal down to be switched. I also like the options button in the top right hand corner to be switch active camera, and then RTH to be the X. But every single button in here, fully customizable for you. We do not support the Xbox controller nor the Logitech controller. We are looking into it, but it's not a high priority right now. We do have a couple of agencies that have also figured out how to work in a joystick, which is kind of wild. So we're going to be adding that in too because we thought that was pretty awesome. Okay. Coming on down. Here we have geofencing functionality as well. So I'm going to build out a geofence in our area here. So I have my operational boundary here. I'm going to add in a geofence. So think of geofences as like no-fly zones, right? So let's say that right here I have a helipad and there's a hospital right there, right? So I'm going to come over. I'm going to name it BK Hospital, and then I'm going to set the make it active. For the geofence ceilings and floors, if you're flying in DFR 2.0, these are from the floor to infinity, and they will automatically deconflict it. If you're flying DFR 1.0, we have floating geofences for you. So if you want to fly above it, you can fly above it. If you want to fly under it, you can fly under it. You just set those ceilings and floors to be what they are. Once you're done with that, you hit add geofence. You'll get a warning if you have docks in there that, hey, you need to go back and sync those geofences, and we'll do that last. So now we have the geofence in there. If you're flying DFR 1.0 and you are above that 164 feet that we set there for that one, it'll turn green, letting you know you can fly over it. Coming on down, we will automatically pull in your groups from OpSub so that you can have those contact groups for whatever reason if you need them. Coming on down, we have flight logs available for you here. Full disclosure, I don't recommend you mess with this a whole lot. I recommend you do all your flight log management in Airbase, but it is here for you. One thing that I do want to point out is your dashboard settings. So if you were to come up to your public dashboard here, you can turn on your dashboard and you can name it whatever you would like. If you go to dashboard.dronesense.com/DS East, you'll be able to see our dashboard. One of the other dashboards that I'll drop in the chat is one that I really like to highlight from one of our agencies that's a power user. He's in some of those team members are in here. So I just want to highlight that, which is dashboard for Montgomery County. Montgomery County PD DFR. So there's the dashboard that they have for that agency. I strongly recommend y'all build out your program very similar to theirs. If you'd like their contact information, I could connect you with them on their DFR program, and they've been doing a stellar job. But you can name the public URL to whatever you would like. No spaces, no spaces for that because that is an actual web address. Agency name, make it look pretty, right? DroneSense Police Department. Page subtitle, remote operations stats, public transparency page, DroneSense first responder operations, whatever you would like to name it. Coming on down, we have our map feature layers. So if you would like to bring in your map feature layers, you can do that. They all will populate here for you for whatever you built out in OpSub. Last but not least, we have all of our airspace management. So we have Safe Sky built into the software. This is a secondary redundant system for you. We do bring in the FlySafe database for you as well. In here, you can just activate it and it will automatically pull in. And so as you can see, we have a lot of different aircraft automatically populating. You get the speed, the altitude, and the tail number associated with that. You can see this is a general aviation fixed wing. We also have the 2-minute notification set up for you as well. So if it maintains heading and speed, it's going to be right there in 2 minutes. In the event that you're wanting to stand up operational boundaries so that you can make sure that you have good standoff for that, we also have the alerts settings for you too. So here we have proximate traffic and resolutionary boundaries for you as well. You can build these out to be whatever you want and fine tune them for whatever detect and avoid solution you're running, whether it's Casio or MatrixSpace, Drone, or any of the other systems we may be integrating in the future. You can adjust these. And what'll happen is if the crewed aviation aircraft comes into any of those hockey pucks, you're going to get the corresponding color and warning on the user interface, as well as on the map, letting you know that aircraft is flying into an incursion for proximate traffic or resolution. We also have display settings for the OneSky solution for you, so you can change all those to whatever you would like to do as well. For the Casio solution, you can turn those on if you're running the Casio solution. As you can see, we'll bring in the thumbnails. We also have a DroneSense icon, and if you'll notice here, it's off kilter, right? Well, that is where it's telling you to go if you want to see that thumbnail. If I click on it, it'll snap to the Arlington location. And so as you can see here, we have a little bit of duplication going on with the aircraft as well as the ADS-B receiver that we have there. So all of those will populate. It also will give you a line as to which aircraft it is. So this aircraft looks like it's pinging 2 at the same time, or for that Casio solution. There we are. If you were to hide it, it'll tell you how many hits it has at once. If you want to add a system, all you have to do in the top left-hand corner is hit add system, and it'll bring it up. So right now we only have the UAvionics Casio solution in here. MatrixSpace will be populating here very, very soon, followed by Drone. But all you got to do is click on it, hit next, and then you'll add in your Casio serial numbers. You'll type in that information, name it whatever you want, set the filters. Then it's as easy as that to bring it into our system here. MatrixSpace is the same way. You'll type in your broker information, and all of that will populate for you. Coming on down, we have all of our settings here for DroneSense Remote. You can change it to not American if we have any not American people in here for running the metric system. You can change the date format if you'd like to change the date format. We have max bit rate and OPSA bit rates. Leave those unless you're having issues. Get with your customer success managers or our support team, and we can make those adjustments for you to help you make sure that those are optimized. Generally speaking, the most you're ever going to want to bump those up to is 5 and 5. Coming on down, if you want to fly by keyboard, make sure you enable that. And again, if you just hold the command or the control button down, it will bring up that mapping for you. You can set your primary altitudes here for you as well, either in height above takeoff or AGL functionalities. We can also set record videos. I'm going to turn that on. This is a different setting for you. In record video here, instead of it saving to the SD card and then wanting to attach it to an S3 bucket, this will save all of that data locally on your computer at that console. So this is really good for being able to get quick information for you. And it's also going to be a screen recording of what the teleoperator was seeing at the time, not the high res video or photos. Coming on down, I also recommend you turn on wide sensor during takeoff so that way, whenever you're flying around, it'll help you with, especially if you're zoomed in, it won't just yank it. It'll bounce it out to wide so you can kind of see what's going on. If you're flying in dock operations, we do have a simulate dock flights available for you here. And that basically what happens, it'll only simulate that you launch and give you kind of a simulator in here. Full disclosure, if something goes wrong with your network, it's going to require you to go back to the dock itself and do a hard reset on it. So it's just a limitation that's built into our software, unfortunately. If you want to turn on or off terrain following, you have the ability to turn that on or off here. Once you're set there, you can save that, and then all of your settings are ready to go. So now let's go and fly, right? So we have the Dock 2 solution, Dock 3, and the Dock 3 beta. We're going to fly my Dock 3 here in Houston. So we're going to snap to that unit here. As you can see, this aircraft is ready. If you're flying DFR 1.0, the user or the RPIC on the rooftop has to indicate ready on the controller. There's a green banner that populates. They indicate ready. It'll show ready. If it's not, it'll show not ready, and it will not allow the teleoperator to fly. Once they indicate ready, you can click on the map and it'll create a flight plan for you. And so, for example, I'm going to click right about there so the aircraft gets over the water. You'll notice that we have this magenta line here. That magenta line is the trajectory the aircraft's going to take. You can make adjustments to that if you don't want it to fly it directly to that location for whatever reason. And then it's going to come to this teal circle. It's going to stop. It's going to gimbal down 45 degrees to the center point of the circle. And then it's going to look right here. Let's say I don't want it to do that. Let's say this is exactly where I want it to go. What you can do is you can select it and then tell it fly to target. And so what it'll do is it'll fly that waypoint line to that location. Or you can tell it take off only, and then it will allow you to only take off the air, only take off. Sorry about zooming out there. It'll only take off, and then you got to fly it manually to the location. When it comes to doing the call for service information, you can type in an address point here. So for example, if I wanted to, I'm going to cheat a little bit. If I wanted to send it over to 3800 Eastbury because there's an assault in progress, if I just start typing in 3800, it'll build out that geo verification. I can click on it and there it will create the flight plan for me. We also can type in what 3 words. We also can type in lat long. All of those will populate for me as well. Okay, so again, I'm just going to click out here. We'll select the aircraft. If you have multiple aircraft, they'll stack right here. And you'll notice that we have green and green. If you have multiple aircraft, it will show you the green icons based off of what dock or aircraft is closest to the call for service and or battery consumption. So if I had multiple aircraft here and they're all in the same location, but one aircraft is at 80%, the other one's at 90, my 90% will be green and green. So that way you can optimize which aircraft is closest and which aircraft has the most battery. So I'm going to select the aircraft. Again, I want it to fly to radius for this example. I'm going to make sure that I assign it to a mission so that it goes to OpSub. If it doesn't, you'll see that this is red. So assign it to your mission. You'll be able to go from there. You can adjust your call sign as well. So if I'm flying, so I'm going to have BK. This can be Eagle 1. This can be UAS 1. It could be Goose. I don't recommend that name. He dies. But you can name it whatever you want. Coming on down, we have the weather information associated with the dock, with the weather station on the dock. If you are one of those agencies that have terrain, if you click on the elevation profile, you can see the elevation profile and you can see those rolling hills and see that the aircraft's going to follow that. Next, I'm going to hit launch. It's then going to connect with the dock. It's going to automatically open. Again, this is the dock 3 integration that we have. So as you can see, it immediately connected, automatically starts opening up. And this aircraft's going to take off very, very quickly here. Generally speaking, on the dock 3, we're seeing about a 15 to 18 second launch time. Okay. Of course, in the training here, we're going to not get video feed for that. Flew it right before this and it was working just fine. So this is a good example of aviation safety, right? So the aircraft's climbing. I'm going to cancel that go to. I don't want it to keep flying. I have an issue. I'm going to return to home. So always have good piloting. Always make sure that you are the pilot for that aircraft, right? Don't just because you have an issue, let it get all the way out there. I can't see anything with the camera. I want to make sure that I'm safe. I know that there's no aircraft here. So what's going to happen is the aircraft's going to descend. It's going to get to the dock. Dock's going to automatically open. It's going to land in the dock. And then we're going to be able to reset this guy. This is a really good opportunity to show you how to do troubleshooting for this as well. So right now, dock is at 9 feet. I can see it right outside my window here. And once it gets all tidied up in here, we'll be able to reset this guy. So you can see up here in the top right-hand corner, that dock is open. It's currently out of dock. It just landed. We're going to let this dock close, and then we're going to end the flight. We'll reset it, and we'll be good to go. And I also apologize for the circuit breaker. The battery backup breaker is working just fine, but it's faulty. I got to replace it. Okay, so now the dock is still moving. Dock is closed. Battery is good. I'm going to end that flight. And now I'm going to do some troubleshooting, right? That didn't work. So I'm going to go to the dock. Here we have the dock 3. if you click on this, we have this first button here, we have connect. If you have a disconnect while it's flying, we have a rapid reconnect for you here so that you can reconnect to that aircraft if it's downrange and you have a network issue. We can bring up the video feeds are located right here. As you can see, I got the video feedback again. Coming over one more, we have all of the maintenance information. One thing that I want to highlight here, you can see that it's ready. If I enter maintenance mode, let it go into remote maintenance mode before you start clicking around. So here we have remote maintenance mode. It's there. One thing that I want to make sure is we're all good here. I could restart the dock if I want to restart the dock. I don't think this was a dock problem. I think this was a broker problem. So I'm going to go a different route. But if you want to reset the dock or restart the dock remotely, you can do that right here. Okay, so I'm going to exit maintenance mode. I'm going to make sure that we have synced all geofences so I can show you what that looks like as well. So now we have a green check mark. That's all looking really good. Now I'm going to reset the broker because that was part of our issue that we had. So I'm going to click these three vertical dots here, and I'm going to hit reset dock. I'm going to hit reset again. You're going to notice it went away, right? So I'm going to let it go away, and it's going to reset our broker and come back. So now it's back, and now we're ready to go again. One thing that I also want to show you is the Dock 3 beta up here at the UVT launch site here is showing on-site maintenance. I mean that door is open and somebody is working on that dock. So again, if somebody's working on it, you're not going to be able to just take it over and launch it. So let's fly that again. I'm going to select the location I want to fly, and I'm going to launch. Again, we'll start a timer this time. Now we got video feed. Everything's working great now. Aircraft is active. We're in the air in 11 seconds this time. So again, aircraft's going to climb. It's going to fly to that call for service, just like what we would do. The workflow that you're seeing here for DFR 2.0 and 1.0, all of those are the exact same. So whether you're flying with your RPIC on the rooftop or you're flying a dock, nothing's changing. The only thing that's different is the remote pilot on command has the ability to take over your aircraft at any time. Okay. So the aircraft's going to fly to that call for service, and then it's going to gimbal down 45 degrees. I have magenta on my PlayStation 5 controller showing me that this is an autonomous mission flight operation. So again, aircraft's on scene. It's blue showing manual. It's blue showing manual on my controller. Now I can gimbal up, and I can gimbal down, and I can start flying around, right? A couple of things I want to highlight here is you can see where my aircraft is on the map. We have that sensor point of interest integrated in with the dock as well here for us. Coming over on the right-hand side, we have the controller configurations. If you're fighting your fingers, make the adjustments. You don't have to land to be able for that to work. Coming over here, we have the data link. You can see right now I'm at 38 milliseconds for my operations here. You can see your GPS connectivity, RF connectivity, battery consumption as well, and you can turn on or off obstacle avoidance from here. Coming on down, if I want to switch out the mission for this operation, I can change that. If I want to share out the magic video link, I could share out the magic video link as well. All of that is readily available to you. Here we have our call for service information. This is where you can label things anything you want. So let's say that this call for service, I typically like to do this while it's flying to the call for service. So I'm going to label this one out 2025-0521-1 because this is my first DFR flight for the day. I can label the priority of call, and I can name it anything I want. Think of this as public narrative too, guys. So we'll name this one missing person. Right? I can save it. I can also log on scene manually if I want to log on scene. Let's say that I wanted to stop early. I could do that and label on scene. Coming on around, we have this first button here. This is capture image feature. If I click on that little guy, what it'll do is it'll take a screen grab of that. And I can silo my evidence with this photo here. So as you can see, there's the photo that I just took. I can download that. I can send it out to my ground personnel. Like, here's my suspect. Here's where I found him. I can see the call for service information. It's all labeled there for me. Coming on down, if I want to turn on the anti-collision light, I can do that. Coming on down one more, we have the gimbal drag option. So if you'll notice, there's now a crosshair. If I start moving my finger around on my touchpad here and I depress it, it'll automatically move the gimbal around wherever I'm telling it to go and look. So if I don't want to take my fingers off the controllers to be able to move the gimbal around, it makes it really easy. Next, we have all the different payloads here. We have zoom, infrared. We also have the ability to do split screen. All of that is available to you here. In the zoom functionality, for me, it's bumpers or grenades. It'll automatically change in. If you're wanting to fly via keyboard, you can use the mouse. What's also really nice is, let's say that I want to double click over to the intersection here. Let's say I want to zoom in on that truck, right? What I can do is I can click on the truck and drag a bounding box. And you'll notice we have this green bounding box that's there for me now. Once I click on it and let it go, it'll snap to where that is, and it'll zoom to that location as well. Okay, let me go back out. Go back into zoom just to show you all that again. There we are. So it makes it really easy to be able to see very specific things to be able to see that. Again, you just click on it and draw that bounding box, and it'll allow you to do that. Coming on down, you can switch between video or video or still view if you'd like to switch between those. Those are available for you as well. If you want to reset your zoom and zoom all the way out, you can just click that little guy. If you want to take a photo or a recording, you can do that as well on this button right here. Last but not least, if you want to switch between all the different thermal palettes we have available for you, you can do that as well. All of those are there for you. So let's say that now I want to fly to a different call for service somewhere over here, right? So I can allow it to do that. I'm going to make sure that I fly around that geofence, and I'm going to tell it new call for service, go here. What you'll notice is it'll go into that autonomous mission, and it's going to fly out there. And you'll notice up here in the top right-hand corner, we now have a number 2. So if I click on this and I change this information, you'll notice the aircraft's flying around that geofence. I'll go in and I can name this something else, right? 2025 0521-2, since this is my second call for service for the day. Set the priority 4, and barking dog complaint for funsies. Right? I can save it. Now, one thing that I want to highlight here, if I were to come down and take a photo of this now, what will happen is it will silo my evidence for this new one, right? So in the previous call for service, I now have my video associated with that call for service. I have my evidence. This one is specific to this photo now. And so that way you can make sure your evidence doesn't get crossed between the two different call for services. Last but not least, let's say that we wrapped up my operations and I'm ready to go home. I'm just going to click return to home. You'll notice that normally it would be a direct line to here. It will navigate around that geofence for me. So it's going to climb to my RTH altitude, and it's going to automatically fly out there and avoid that geofence for me. Once it gets to altitude, again, no hands on the sticks, it's going to figure out which is the best route to get there. If it is flying around this direction, it'll go that direction. If it's flying around this direction, it'll go this direction. So this was a little bit closer. It's always going to be utilizing the visual sensors to make sure it's not going to hit anything. It's going to make sure that it is not going to go into that geofence as well. So sometimes based off of lens flares or based off of what you're flying in those environments, you'll see it float around a little bit. This is expected behavior. Because it's utilizing all of that AI that it has in there to make sure that it's not going to run in and crash into anything. As always, if you need to cancel that return to home, let's say you got another call for service or you need to send it somewhere else, you can always do that. Okay. One thing with the Dock 3 as well, whenever it's coming into land, you'll notice it'll start to do that gimbal down. That's normal expected behavior as well. It also utilizes zoom as it's descending. So like right now, it didn't just drop down to 100 feet. It's using zoom to find the dock. So that's also really helpful. You'll notice back out as it comes into land. Okay. We're a little bit over on time, so I appreciate everybody hanging out. For those of y'all that are hanging, once this lands, I'm going to end the flight, and I want to show a couple other things. We're going to go long. So my apologies on that. Okay. So again, you'll notice that it just bounced out. So it's going to come in and land in the dock, start charging, start getting ready for the next operation. The dock has just under a minute of charge time for every minute of flight. So it actually does a really good job. The battery charging station that they have in this thing is really, really fast. Okay. All right, dock's in there. The gimbal up is expected behavior. They do that to protect the cameras when it's landing. So if you notice it yank, if you're not used to the DJI Dock 3, it does that. Okay, it does that in flight up to. It's how they programmed it to do things. Okay, dock's in there. We're all nice and secure. I'm going to end that flight now, and we're ready to go. So you'll notice that it's still showing in use. Now it's ready. If I wanted to send the flight, I could send the flight again. Coming over into Airbase. One thing that I want to highlight with all of your operations flying in a DJI with the DJI dock, this is the flight that I conducted a little bit earlier today, doing the test flight. So I want to highlight this one here. While that other flight log processes, it'll populate here in a second. But in the interest of time, I'm going to show this one. Here we have the flight, no different than what you're normally used to seeing in platform, with one change, with the call for service logs. So here we have the call for service logs listed here. You can see the call for service number that we had for the earlier flight that I did. If I click on this, you can start editing those details. So again, we talked a little bit earlier about that call for service in the 3800 block of Eastbury. I can name it whatever I want. I can change the case ID to 2025 0521-3 for whatever reason, and I can set the priorities. I can name the description. Think of the description as a public narrative again. So if I want to name this one structure fire, I can do that. Coming on down, the notes are always internal. Descriptions, public narrative. If I want to push it to our public dashboard, I can toggle yes. If we are first on scene, I can log those. Let's say that this was an arson investigation. I can say assisted in arrests. And if we disregarded patrol units, I can also show that. And then once I save it, all of that information will be saved to that call for service information. We also have the ability in your reports to go through in the call for service reporting and export out that data for the day. And you'll get all of those statistics available for you to make whatever report you want to be able to build out. Last but not least, the last thing that I want to show off is the dashboard that I shared to y'all a little bit earlier. This is what a fully built out public facing dashboard looks like for you. You can add in your agency coin. You can add in your agency information. And again, you get your agency deployments located right there on the public dashboard. If you don't want a public dashboard, that's up to you. You don't have to share that out, but we strongly advise you do, just for the interest of transparency. It helps with FOIA requests. It helps with all kinds of stuff. So this is where that data goes. Also, full disclosure, this is getting completely revamped with all kinds of really nice charts and data for you to be able to leverage as well. If you're interested in supporting us on how we're going to build that out, please join our working groups that we have available for you as well. Thank you all so much for hanging with me. I know we went 5 minutes over, which aligns perfectly with my 5 minutes starting late, but really appreciate it. I'm going to hang for y'all guys. If y'all need to drop, you will get your certificates coming through on the back end of this. We would love to hear any questions that you have. Any questions for Drones First Responder, whether it's policies, whether it's the Doc 3 integration, drop them in the chat. Like I said, I'm going to hang for a little bit. I'm also going to allow everybody to talk that's still in here, for better or for worse. So if y'all have questions, y'all want to just chat, I'm here for you. Don't forget to unmute if you have any questions or would like to chat. Okay. Okay. There we are.
Hey, BK, I'm not sure if it's going to help, but I will also throw my email in the chat. I know I'm not part of DroneSense, but just being a user and kind of going through all these processes. If anyone on here has any questions that I can answer, practical, real life data, I use it all the time. So
huge help. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you. All right. Everybody has been granted the ability to chat. So if you have questions or want to talk, don't forget to unmute. And I'm also going to stop the recording just so people aren't worried about that.